So as I'm recording the video today, it is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So some of the memories that I'm touching on today are really close to heart at this time of year, particularly. And today I want to share another little story about my grandmother because she's so much behind the reason why I create story experiences to help long distance grandparents like us feel close, connected, and truly part of our grandkids' world. So, when I was growing up, my grandmother had this way of bringing stories to life that made the whole room feel magical. Her eyes would literally flash with excitement right at the best moments. She never read from a book, so she would look directly in my eyes, so it felt as if the story belonged to both of us. So created this shared experience. And her voices, oh my goodness, her character voices and the sound effects that she made, it made everything as a child feel so real. But here's the part that I didn't fully understand until I was much older. It wasn't the stories themselves that shaped me. It was the way she made me feel important in her world, noticed, valued, and loved. In the kitchen, and there was lots of kitchen time, she was an amazing cook. And even when all I did was stir a pot that didn't need stirring or hand her something that she already had out, she made me feel like my tiny part mattered. And that right there is belonging. It's as simple as that. Belonging is one of the deepest needs we all have as humans. Kids crave it, they look for it, and they feel it most in the moments when an adult really sees them and invites them to be part of something. And Storytime is one of the easiest places to build that. Because in a story, no matter what story it is, there is always a way for kids to participate, to imagine, react, join in, act things out. And when you're the one guiding the story, they feel your attention, your joy, your presence, even if your state's away. And that is exactly what inspired my first book in the Rascally Pup Learns and Grows series, What the Dickens, The Tale of a Rascally Pup. The whole story is built on the idea of belonging, how it doesn't always begin neatly or perfectly. So in the story, a mischievous new puppy meets a very prim and proper grandma, a grandma who likes things very orderly and neat, and suddenly finds herself surrounded by total puppy chaos. From the very moment that puppy meets grandma, he is obsessed with her handkerchief. And the tension between grandma and the puppy with that growing battle over the handkerchief builds and builds throughout the story. Obviously, lots of humorous moments, but underneath the giggles, there is a bigger idea. Can this energetic, well-meaning, rascally little pup find his place in the family? Can he win grandma over? Can he learn cooperation and respect and earn acceptance and love? As you may guess, of course he can, though not without a few hilarious bumps along the way. This first story in my Rascally Pup Learns and Grows series brings the idea of the need for belonging and happily the fulfillment of that feeling to life in a fun, giggled-filled way. It's chaotic and messy and joyful and sweet. And here's why the recognition that our grandkids need that connection and feeling of belonging matters to us as grandparents, especially if they live far away. Even over Zoom, when you invite kids to show me, act it out with me, or grab something to pretend with, they become active participants, and participation builds confidence. So that's why my stories include built-in action. So for example, in What the Dickens, that not so subtle battle over grandma's handkerchief opens the door for kids to act it out right along with you. With just a simple washcloth, they can mimic the action in the story, being very mannerly with Grandma's hanky until the struggle develops into keep-away tactics, tugging and pulling and waving in the air as Grandma's trying to keep it away from the puppy, and giggling their way through the story right along with you. Suddenly, they're not just listening to a story, they are in it. And that's where belonging grows. So I have another just simple connection tip for you today too. You can do this with any story, no prep time at all required. Give your grandchild a story job, something special that only they get to do during the story. It can be tiny, like being in charge of spotting a funny character every time he pops up, or listening for a silly word and repeating it with you. Kids love having a special role, and it keeps them connected the whole way through the story because they're listening for something. That instantly builds belonging. So if you want help bringing more belonging, more confidence, and a whole lot more fun to your story times, especially if you're doing them over Zoom, I'd love to share something with you. It's my Storytime shortcut, and it's completely free. Inside, I show you 5 simple ways to keep your grandkids engaged, connected, and excited to see you pop up on the screen. You'll find the link below this video. I hope it makes your next story time feel totally magical. And until next time, keep creating those moments. They matter more than you know.